All right, welcome back, everyone. Today we are going
Mm.
deep, deep into the world of a character I think a lot of people think they have Percy
Yeah.
Weasley figured out. But
Oh, he's a tricky one.
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a deep dive on Percy
I
Weasley.
love it.
And by the
Uh,
end, hopefully, you'll see him in a whole new light.
oh, okay.
So what is so interesting
Oh,
about Percy Weasley?
I think what's fascinating about Percy is that he's so often dismissed as just the
Right.
the uptight brother, the one who,
Like the rule follower?
yeah, the rule follower,
Yeah.
exactly. And he is very much that.
Yeah.
But I think if we look closer, his story is actually one of the most complex in the entire series.
Okay, so we are going to uncover those hidden depths.
Yes.
Okay, and by the end,
Right.
we're going to try and answer the big question.
Oh, I like this.
What would you have done if you were Percy?
Ooh.
Put yourself in his shoes.
Okay, I'm ready.
So have you already made up your mind about Percy?
Well, I think, like a lot of readers I have in the past, judged Percy pretty harshly.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to keep an open mind.
Okay.
See things from his perspective.
I love that, to really get into his head.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to try to do today.
Let's do it.
Okay, so to really understand where Percy ends up, we have to kind of go back to the beginning.
Okay.
All right. So picture this. You are the third son
Okay.
in a family of 7 kids.
Oh, wow.
The Weasleys.
Yeah.
They're known for being kind of a bit lively.
A bit lively, yeah, just a tad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think that an environment might have shaped Percy?
I mean, it's easy to imagine, especially compared to his twin brothers, Fred and George,
Yeah.
that a young Percy craved order and structure amidst all that chaos.
Yeah.
So I think we see that desire for recognition play out really early on, even at Hogwarts. He was head boy, always following the rules.
Oh, he's a prefect first.
Oh, that's right. Prefect first, head boy later.
Yeah.
Always following the rules. Very ambitious.
Yeah.
Clearly looking for maybe a different kind of validation than
Right.
his siblings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of different plants, he starts dating Penelope Clearwater
Penelope
in Chamber of Secrets.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah,
It's
Ravenclaw.
interesting.
Seems a little rebellious.
He does suggest that he's capable of forging his own path.
Yeah.
Even if subtly so.
Well.
He's not just blindly following rules, he's making choices
Yeah.
based on, I guess, his own feelings and desires.
Okay, so this independent streak,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder how it leads him to where he ends up.
Yeah.
Because things take a pretty sharp turn.
Well, they do, yes.
He gets a job at the Ministry of Magic,
Mm.
and then boom, he sides with Cornelius Fudge
Yeah.
against Dumbledore and Harry
Yeah.
when Voldemort returns.
Right.
And for a lot of people,
I would say most,
this is where the frustration with Percy really sets in.
it's understandable. Imagine, you're a fan, you're engrossed in the story.
Right.
You know that Voldemort is back.
You know Harry's telling the truth.
Exactly, Harry's telling the truth. But here's the thing. We have to remember that Percy's belief in the Ministry was absolutely genuine.
Good.
He really believed that Fudge was right
Mhm.
and that Dumbledore and Harry were exaggerating the threat.
So maybe instead of being malicious,
I think so.
he was just misguided.
Yeah, misguided.
Yeah.
I think he was clinging to that structure and authority of the Ministry.
Okay.
And maybe even seeing it as a way to kind of prove himself,
Right.
to separate himself from his family's
Oh, just
unconventional ways, shall we say.
right. He wants to make a name for himself.
Yeah.
Stand on his own 2 feet.
Exactly.
But the irony is he ends up isolating himself
right. Yes.
from the people that care about him the most.
It's true.
What is going through his head at this point?
Well, this is where I think it gets really psychologically complex.
Yeah.
Remember his name, Percival, like the Arthurian knight.
Interesting.
He's on this quest. He's searching for his own version of the Holy Grail.
What does that Holy Grail represent for Percy? What's he really seeking?
Ooh, good question.
Power.
Recognition.
It could be power recognition from authority figures like Fudge,
Yeah.
but I also think it's maybe something a little deeper, maybe a longing for validation
Oh, okay.
in a family where it's easy to get overshadowed.
Right, because there's a lot of them.
A lot of big personalities, right? And don't forget, his dad works at the Ministry, too.
Oh, that's right. In a less prestigious.
In a very sort of, lower level department.
Yeah.
Maybe Percy wants to kind of surpass even him.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's not just about ambition. It's about trying to find his place
Okay.
in a world that feels, to him, very chaotic and unpredictable.
The ministry, with its rules and hierarchy and all that, that makes sense.
Right, exactly. It offers him a sense of order, a sense of control.
It's a path to achieving something that his family might not fully understand or appreciate.
Right, but it still feels like a betrayal.
Of course, it does.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
To those of us who are rooting for the Weasleys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the question that kind of hangs over this entire period.
Yeah.
Did Percy turn against his family out of spite? Or was this a misguided attempt to be right,
Right.
to prove his worth, even at the cost of, his family?
At the cost of those closest to him, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a big question.
it is a big
It
question.
really gets to the heart of his character.
It does.
And it's not one with an easy answer,
No.
but I think it's in this struggle, in this moral gray area, that Percy becomes really fascinating,
Okay.
to kind of explore and to unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave it there for now.
All right.
We'll be back
That sounds good.
after a short break.
Okay. It's a question that lingers, right?
It does, yeah.
Because he's not just some straight up villain.
Nope.
He's not, Voldemort or Bellatrix or...
Try. He's not evil.
No, he's not inherently evil. He's someone who genuinely believes.
Right.
He's doing the right thing, even if
we, the audience, disagree.
Even if we're like, Percy, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But he thinks he's doing the right thing.
And that makes him more relatable, even if he's frustrating.
Yeah, and I think we've all had those moments where we've clung to beliefs
Ooh,
that turned out to be wrong
Yeah.
or made choices.
This is hitting a little too close to home.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
With unintended consequences.
I'm sweating a little bit, thinking about some of my past decisions.
Same here.
You're right.
But it makes you wonder, are we really being fair to Percy?
Right.
To judge him so harshly.
Yeah.
I mean, we all make mistakes, right?
Everybody makes mistakes.
Exactly.
So the story ultimately grapples with this idea of, is he redeemable?
Yes.
And he does have a redemption arc, right?
He does. It's not until the Battle of Hogwarts, that final climactic battle, against Voldemort, that we see Percy really confront his mistakes.
And what a confrontation.
Oh, my God.
I mean, he comes back, he fights alongside his family.
He does.
He even goes up against his former ministry colleagues.
That's right.
I mean, talk about a change of heart.
It's a powerful moment, I think. It speaks to those deep bonds of family, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Even after all that estrangement and that separation,
Yeah.
Percy realizes that his loyalty lies with his family, not with the institution that ultimately let him down.
Yeah. And then there's that scene with Fred.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Where Percy apologizes.
Heartbreaking.
Oh, she gets me every time.
I know.
It's so sad.
It's such a gut-wrenching scene, especially knowing what happens next.
Oh, I know.
Fred's death. It's so tragic.
Yeah.
And the raw grief that Percy feels.
Yeah.
I think it really underscores the weight of his past choices,
Yeah, it's like all those years of trying to prove himself, to climb that ministry ladder.
Right, exactly.
It just suddenly means nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
In the face of such a profound loss.
That's the power of that scene.
Yeah.
It strips away all the ambition, all the posturing, and we're just left with this raw human moment.
Raw human moment.
Of regret and reconciliation.
And redemption, really. Pure and simple.
Redemptions that comes at a terrible price, sadly.
It does, very true. But I think it reinforces the idea that even when we stray, even when we make choices that we regret, there's always the possibility of coming back, of reconnecting with what truly matters.
Okay, so we've seen Percy at his most ambitious.
Yeah.
His most misguided.
Yeah.
And ultimately his most vulnerable.
Yes.
So why is this character so captivating? What is it about Percy Weasley that makes him so fascinating to analyze?
I think it's because he really challenges that simplistic good versus bad thinking that we so often apply to stories,
Yeah.
He forces us to kind of confront the messy realities of human nature, the way our beliefs can be both our strength and our downfall.
He believed in the rules.
It did.
The system.
Yes.
But he applied them in a way that ultimately backfired on him.
It totally backfired, yes. And that's something we can all relate to on some level, can't we?
I think so.
Think about a time you were absolutely sure you were right about something.
Oh, gosh.
Only to find out later that, oh, maybe I wasn't so right after all.
Happens all the time.
Or a time when you made a decision that seemed justified at the moment, but then led to all these unforeseen consequences.
You can make me get really introspective right now.
That's the point.
Okay.
That's the point. I think Percy's story is really like holding up a mirror to our own lives,
Okay.
to our own struggles with ambition and loyalty, the complexities of right and wrong.
Yeah.
It asks us to consider, do his flaws make us judge him more harshly? Or do they actually make him more human?
I think more human.
More like us.
Yeah. More human, especially knowing that he does find some peace after the war.
He does, according to Pottermore.
According to Pottermore,
Yeah.
he marries Audrey, has kids, continues his career at the ministry.
It's interesting to consider, how did those wartime experiences change his approach to work and family?
Yeah.
Do you think he became a more understanding boss, a more compassionate father?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine him clinging to blind ambition
Right.
after everything that he went through.
After everything. Yeah.
Maybe he finally learned to balance his desire for achievement with a deeper appreciation for the people in his life.
For the people in his life, that's right.
Maybe even embraced a little bit of that Weasley chaos.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
It would be, yeah.
I have a feeling, though, Percy will always be Percy.
Right.
At least to some extent, you know? You can't completely erase someone's core personality.
You can't erase who they are, totally.
Exactly.
But that's part of what makes him relatable.
Right.
We're all a work in progress, right?
Absolutely. Constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Learning from our mistakes.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a major upheaval,
It really does.
a battle against dark forces, to really shake things up and make us reevaluate what truly matters.
That's right.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
We've seen Percy kind of go from this ambitious prefect
Mm-hmm.
to this, kind of disillusioned ministry man.
Yes.
And then finally to this man who rediscovers family
Yeah.
and really kind of forges his own path.
Forges his own path. That's right.
It's been a ride.
It has been a journey.
It has. But what does it all mean? What are the takeaways here?
Well, I think Percy's story really reminds us that ambition is not inherently a bad thing. You know, we all have goals and aspirations.
Right.
We want to make our mark on the world.
Yeah.
But it's what we choose to sacrifice in pursuit of those goals that I think really matters.
It's like that old saying, it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Exactly.
And Percy's journey takes some pretty unexpected turns.
It does, very much so, yeah.
And it also highlights the importance of balance, right?
Yes.
Finding that kind of sweet spot between chasing our dreams and nurturing the relationships that really ground us and support us.
That's right, the ones that give us a sense of belonging, yeah.
Percy loses sight of that balance.
He does for a while, yeah.
He gets so caught up improving himself, climbing that ladder,
Yeah, very much so.
that he pushes away the people who love him the most.
The people who love him the most.
It's really sad.
It is sad, but it's also, as we said, incredibly human.
It is. And it also kind of brings us to this idea of second chances.
Yes.
He makes some big mistakes, choices that he regrets. But he is given the opportunity to redeem himself.
Yes.
To kind of mend those bridges.
Mend those bridges, yes.
And to find a path that aligns with his values.
That's right. It's not an easy path, though, is it?
It's not. He faces real consequences. He does. But he also discovers a strength that he might not have known that he had.
Interesting.
The strength to admit that he was wrong.
That's huge.
To fight for what he believes in.
Yeah.
And to stand by his family, even when it's really hard.
It's a powerful message, I think.
It is.
It really is, that even when we stumble, even when we make choices that hurt ourselves and others, there's always the possibility of redemption.
Yeah.
Always a chance to learn from our mistakes and choose a different path.
It's a message that stays with you.
It does.
Even after you put the book down.
Yeah.
Percy's story makes you really examine your own life.
Oh, yeah.
Your own ambition. The choices that you make.
It prompts those big questions, right?
It does.
Like, was Percy misguided? Ambitious?
Or both.
Or both. Can we really forgive him for the pain that he caused? Even if he ultimately finds redemption?
Maybe there are no easy answers.
Maybe that's the point.
I think that's the point.
Characters like Percy, so complex, so many contradictions.
Yeah.
They really make us think.
They make us feel.
Yeah.
And they make us engage more deeply.
They do, very much so, that's right.
With the story.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into Percy Weasley.
Yeah.
What do you think his story teaches us about this balance of ambition and loyalty?
Yeah. It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. What about second chances?
Second chances, yeah.
Not only for ourselves, but also for the people that we love.
That's right.
Those are some big questions.
They are.
I encourage you to share your thoughts, show your insights.
Yeah, what did you guys think?
Let us know.
Let us know.
Because I think exploring characters like Percy Weasley really help us understand ourselves a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's the magic of storytelling. Right?
That's the magic. That's it. That's